let's get into this FC Dallas game. Does that sound good? And then we can hit questions and agenda check. FC Dallas have been one of the worst teams in the Western Conference this year. They come to Lumen Field on Saturday for match day 22. But they are a little bit resurgent right now. They just beat Minnesota United 5-3. They hung 5 goals on them, and their DP number 9, Petar Musa, Croatian guy, he had a hat trick in that game. And this team seems to be experiencing a new coach bump right now. They fired their coach Nico Esteves a few weeks ago after an underwhelming start to the season, where their owner talked about it later, and he was talking about how we have this great roster that I feel like we should be getting more out of, even with the injuries. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that assessment, but that's how they saw it. They fired Nico Esteves. They gave it to an interim guy who I can't remember his name, but he's won 2 straight games, and they scored 5 goals in their last game. And Musa, this Croatian striker, he was very. They spent a ton of money on him. I believe it broke their transfer record, and he was brought in as they built him as this big time. This guy's going to score a ton of goals. He's going to be the Zlatan of this MLS next new era. They didn't say that, but like he was supposed to be really good for them, and then scored a few goals early in the season, but hadn't scored in a few weeks coming into this game, and they got a breakout performance. So all that's to say, this is a more dangerous Dallas team, I think, right now than they would have been earlier in the season. They've dealt with a lot of injuries this season. Their whole team, a lot of it has been built the last couple years around Jesus Ferreira and Paul Arriola. Both of those guys have missed a lot of time with injury, not just this year, but like dating back to last year as well. Alan Velasco, their star young DP, who was a really highly rated Argentine prospect. He tore his ACL in the playoffs last year and hasn't played it.
That was against Seattle, right?
Against Seattle, yeah.
That was sad.
So they haven't had him at all, and that was one of the reasons I wasn't so sure about their decision to fire Esteves, because it's like you don't want to use injuries as an excuse, but they've been so injured that I feel like it's kind of hard to evaluate, and the whole contention that their roster is so loaded that they should have been able to win all these games with Nico Esteves, like with all the injuries that they've had. I just don't know about that. But either way, the new coach bump is a thing, and they seem to be getting one heading into this Seattle matchup. That being said, I mean, this is all right. Even taking into consideration how tough this season has been at times, Seattle should win this game. FC Dallas, first of all, they do not do well at Seattle. I don't know what the all-time record is, but it's something incredibly lopsided, and Seattle's gotten the better of them in the playoffs multiple times over the last few years, and FC Dallas are 0-6-3 on the road this year. That's bad. Their downfall. They don't have a single road win. Even Seattle, for all the struggles that they've had, especially at home, they've got 3 road wins this year. FC Dallas, other than St. Louis, is the only other team in the West that hasn't won a road game this year. And St. Louis has gotten 5 draws. So they're the worst road team in the West. If you can't beat them on your home field, that's an issue. You're probably your chances of actually working your way back into the playoff race here are not going to be especially good if you can't handle an opponent like this on your home field. They haven't won a road game this entire year, and they fired their coach 2 weeks ago. They're playing better, but this is a game that I think Seattle should win, and that they need to win. Just look at the table. Like, they need to start winning these games.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the match, that the Minnesota FC Dallas match, doesn't really say a lot about this team, to be honest. Like, their new coach, Peter Lusane, who is La Liga and French legend, who also ended his career in Dallas. He's good, but like, I don't think that really does anything. If you believe in XG or you don't, they had a 1.52 XG. Minnesota had a 3.16 XG.
And Minnesota's still missing hella guys.
Yeah, Minnesota had 21 shots. Dallas had 9. They outshot them over double. what I'll say about FC Dallas is they're unbeaten in 6 home games, so they have good home presence. And they also have Maarten Paes, who is literally the best goalkeeper in the league.
Good shout.
So I think that really helped them in this match. They found some production from Musa, which is awesome. That means he's heating up. But you have to get it done because this is not a good team.
I always like any opportunity to shout out Maarten Paes because you're right. He's been one of if not the best goalkeepers in the league the last year or so. And it doesn't why does that not get talked about? It's because it's FC Dallas.
It's because it's FC Dallas.
Yeah. He really
he made 4 saves last
If you look
night.
at all the goalkeeper stats, I always look at it. I don't know if this is true this year, but there was a point last year where I was looking at it and I was like, it was when I was trying to decide who to vote for goalkeeper of the year.
Oh yeah,
and I was looking at it and I was like, wow, this guy's literally number 1 in everything.
Yeah, he's number 1 in saves per match, so that means that he's bailing his team out.
Yeah, he's
the
just
most of everyone
under absolute siege.
Yeah,
no, he's sick. He's probably their best player.
Yeah, which I don't feel like doesn't bode well for the Sounders, considering they get 4 chances a game, and
this is not the goalkeeper you want to be facing right now.
And he makes an average of 4.5.
But they yield a ton of chances, so hopefully they can capitalize on that.